Thank you, Shibu, for the introduction. And let me first express my appreciation to you and to Gregory Ormsby-Maury, our colleague at the University of Missouri, for your leadership in organizing this special session on EverGreen Grazing Systems for land restoration, building an international partnership. By the way, Shibu tells me that he was really looking forward to this conference because it's his first visit to Portugal, and his name is Portuguese. I told him that I'm sure he'll feel right at home and he will blend right in with the local folks. Don't you think so? Well, on to business. I hope to help make the case here for how important and urgent it is that we mobilize our efforts to build linkages and strengthen partnerships to take this agenda forward together. The key objectives that we hope to accomplish in the session are to introduce EverGreen Grazing Systems as a concept that captures and communicates the potential of sustainable silvopastoral systems, illustrate how EverGreen Grazing Systems are transforming production for increased food security, improved livelihoods, and enhanced ecological resilience, and finally to explore opportunities for building more effective international partnerships around EverGreen Grazing Systems for advancing the science, the support, and the adoption of sustainable silvopastoral systems. And as we go along, you'll gather the context of what we mean by EverGreen Grazing Systems in this particular situation. I'll be focusing my remarks particularly on a number of major developments in Africa that are pertinent to the topic. And I know that Shibu will be putting more emphasis on EverGreen Grazing Systems in the full global context during his presentation and as he guides the discussions to follow his presentation. Raising livestock is nearly a ubiquitous livelihood system for rural African populations, and pastoral and agropastoral systems are absolutely fundamental to income generation and poverty alleviation across the entire continent. The contribution of pastoralism to agricultural GDP is enormous, particularly in countries such as you see here, Sudan and Senegal, Niger, etc., where actually a majority of agricultural GDP comes from pastoralism itself. We have just completed a new classification of African farming systems for a comprehensive book on this topic. And our study captures the significance of the livestock component in most African farming systems, but particularly so in the arid pastoral, which is the yellow color here, the agropastoral, the dark yellow, and the arid pastoral, the pastoral, dark yellow, and the agropastoral systems in pink. And as you notice, these systems are not only of huge domain in the Sahelian zone, but also throughout East Africa and in major parts, or dominantly, in Southern Africa as well. I'd like to start off by sharing with you the story of a vast landscape transformation that has occurred in West Africa during the past couple of decades, and its implications for pastoral and agropastoral development elsewhere on the continent. Indeed, this is now seen as one of the greatest positive landscape transformations in the world, and it all took place involving more than 1.2 million households in Niger, the poorest country in the world, and one of the Sahelian countries that I showed on the map earlier. Back in the 1980s, the entire Sahel was reeling from about 15 years of catastrophic drought. Crops and livestock were destroyed, and the landscapes were nearly stripped of vegetation. But if you go to that area, and this is a large part of central Niger today, you will find that there has been an entire